Yeah, I've never been in a relationship with really bad sex. But I've definitely been in a relationship where the person just stopped having sex with me and I'm like, excuse me. Wait, no. Let's get into that.
Red wine, red wine. Only get better with time. Only get better with time. Red wine, red wine. Only get better with time. Only get better with time. Only get better.
Sure and I both happen to be in our lady time, so we can't have sex, but we do get to talk about it. Guess what this episode's about?
How much sex is too much sex? Ridiculous question, I know.
You think so?
Ridiculous. But when we flesh it out, it'll make sense. Because at first I thought it was ridiculous, and then I cannot wait to taste this with this, okay?
Okay. Alright, so we're gonna jump right into it. Just to recap, this season 1 of Red Wine Girl Time is about our relationships with men. And so therefore sex is a very important topic. Okay.
The most important. Is it the most?
I don't think it's the most important topic. You think so?
The most. The most.
Okay. Okay, so Ashura,
It's me.
have you ever endured bad sex in the name of love?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Bad sex in the name of love. Oh my God, that just sounds horrible.
It's awful. So this is the thing, right? Y'all want to be all some, and I used to be on this wave. This is coming out wrong, but this is Red Wine Girl Time, so I just have to be honest with you guys. A lot of us want to live in this space of, oh, I want to wait until I have sex so that I can really get.
I'm here. That's potential.
I want to wait till I have sex so that I can really get to know the person, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. That
I hate to interrupt this knowledgeable moment, but I think you're avoiding the question.
I'm not avoiding the question because it's all going to come out. I promise. It's going to be good. When you wait to have sex with a person, there is such a thing as waiting too long sometimes. And in that waiting process, yes, you're getting to know them. You're learning all these wonderful things, but then at some point, sometimes you can fall in love. And then by the time you have sex, you're not really in love with that. And I said to say that I've been in that position. And what ends up happening is that you find yourself trying to overcompensate. So because the sex is bad but the love is good, you find yourself saying, number one, is it me? Is it something that I'm doing wrong? What is happening?
Because why isn't this working?
Yes.
Okay.
You start to get really insecure.
This is so good.
And then, yes, and I wish I was doing that. But you start to get really insecure. It starts to show in other things. And it's kind of not like an insecure, like, oh my God, are you cheating on me? Where that may become a concern too. But it's more like, what am I not doing right? And how do I get it right? So now you start to try things. Because you're like, okay, maybe sex level 1 isn't working, but sex level 15.
You just skipped that level.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Sex level 15 might just be where it's at. So here you are, doing things that you're not proud of, doing things that you're not even really into, doing things that maybe the other person isn't into either, but you're just trying to find some middle ground of, okay.
How long did you endure bad sex?
We're not going to talk about that because I don't want to single anyone out. I don't want to be blocked. I just want a good life.
Asher gets blocked every episode. Somebody blocks her.
Every episode, my follower count goes down. That was not the goal of this endeavor. I joke around a lot, but the truth is that sex is not the most important part of a relationship. There's so many other things that go into a relationship, but it is a very important part.
It is.
Being pleased, having that release, really connecting with your partner on that level,
Having a different
of
source of
oneness.
communication.
Right. It's so important. So if the sex isn't good, it's probably a sign that this is just not the relationship for you. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Has a man ever told you that you have too high of a sex drive?
Yes. It actually happens more often than not.
How does that make you feel?
All right, so let's be honest about it. Here's the thing about sex, right? Especially when you're in a relationship. This person has chosen you to have intercourse with exclusively for the time being, which means that you live up to some sort of standard of what they find attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So if at some point you decide that you no longer want to have sex with me, whether it be because I want to have sex all the time, or my sex drive is too high, or whatever the case may be, in my mind, I'm not attractive to you anymore. You know, like, so now I'm like, but we used to have sex all the time before, so like, what's the problem now? And I remember like asking my boyfriend, like, yo, like, let's just like go get a quickie, and he was like, no, I'm not in the mood. Do men have the right to not be in the mood? I'm asking for me. Is that a real thing? Are men allowed to not be in the mood? And I know a couple of y'all are trying to fight for your rights, because men watch this show too, but
Men watch this show mostly, so let's get into that. But
like, are men really allowed to not be in the mood? I thought, like, legit growing up, before I even understood like what this like relationship thing was, in all the movies, the women would be like, oh no, I have a headache. Like, men don't get to do that. Like, that's not your role.
I have a story. I have a story time.
It's story time.
So, I was dating a guy some time ago, and you know, when you're young and after you leave the club or you leave an event or whatever the case is, you're lit. What do you want to do?
Have sex.
Okay. I called this gentleman at close to like 2 in the morning, which I do not think is late. I do not think it's late.
2 a.m. is not late. We're adults.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't work in the morning. He knows where I am. He knows the event that I'm at, where it's like, of course, like, you should have just been expecting it.
Wasn't this Valentine's Day?
This was around Valentine's Day, but it was at a specific themed party.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
So you should have known. You should have known.
Mm-hmm.
And so I contact him. I'm like, hey, just got home. I'm about to pack up some stuff and head over to you. He's like, fine, but if we could just like not have sex and just cuddle. Okay, I'm just gonna stay home. It's okay. And this man literally calls me and gets angry with me and tells me basically, how dare you? What if you decided that you were not in the mood? Y'all really gotta stop this in the mood lie. I think they had a meeting.
we gotta start giving it right back to him. We not in the mood.
I think that's what happened. But yeah, he's like, if you weren't in the mood, like, and I just decided I wasn't gonna come by anymore because whatever. And I would have respected that because I'm a grown woman
Who wanted sex.
Right. If I was that type of person, because I've been that type of person before, where like I've had not in the mood moments at a different place in my life. But I'm just saying, I would have understood. I wouldn't want someone who wants to have sex next to me at 2 in the morning. Because even if I say yes,
you're going to be annoying.
You know what I'm saying? So I would have respected it. Which leads me to my next question.
Okay.
How much sex is too much sex?
I think the real question here is there such a thing as too much sex? Because how much sex is too much sex is really dependent on the person, it depends on the couple, it depends on the relationship. If our relationship is solely based on sex, and there is no such thing as too much sex because that's why you're here. But as someone with what most men in my past would describe as a high sex drive, I've had people that I just didn't want to have sex with anymore. And every time that I decided that I didn't want to have sex, it was based on an emotional thing. Like there was like a tweet that was on Instagram where it was like, you know, men don't understand, like, I could be mad, but if you throw out the garbage, then I could be turned on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how our hormones work. So it really is an emotional thing. So like, is there such a thing as too much sex? No. But can I stop wanting to have sex with someone? Yes. And how much sex is too much sex? I don't know. I really feel like it just depends on where we are, because at some point, if I don't like you and if I'm disgusted by you as a human being, but I share a bed with you, once a day is enough. Like, I don't want you to touch me all the time. And that's probably at where we reach a point where we need to break up, because I don't want to do this. So too much sex really depends on where you stand emotionally with the person. Men will tell you that, based on what I've been told, men will tell you that there is such a thing as too much sex because they don't want to get tired of being with the same woman, excuse me. And so for women, we don't get tired of being with the same man. So too much sex for us is very, very different. It's almost non-existent. It's just either I want to have sex with you all the time or I don't want to have sex with you at all. So
I think that also, I'm about to have a whole finger situation. My fingers are melting into chocolate as we speak. Oh, good. A lot of women, my story earlier, we had a little giggle, right? But a lot of women are having sex with men who are not actually pleasing them. Because the thing is that we are just getting to an era where women are able to be comfortable to say, I like sex. I like a lot of sex. I like to come. I like this. I like that. I don't like that. We're just getting to the era. Not only are we just getting into it, we're starting the era where women are able to be vocal about what they like sexually. So because we are starting that era, there are still a lot of women that are in relationships, whether that be they are married, they already have kids with the guy, it's long term, whatever the tie is, they're already in situations where they're becoming used to and accepting mediocre sex as a norm. So like you said, it depends on where you are with the person. If the sex is mediocre or just not good, every time you want to have sex with me, it's too much. Every time you want to have sex with me, it's too much. Because I don't enjoy this. I endure it. It's something that I do because I know that we are in a relationship, and I think that means that I owe you sex, which is a totally different conversation.
It's so crazy that you said that, because while that is a different conversation, you have to think about how many times women have sex when they don't want to. Because up until this point, we were taught that we didn't have a choice.
Right.
So like, realistically speaking, like, while I've never been in a relationship where I endured bad sex, I've definitely been in situations where I felt like contractually obligated to have sex. And sometimes it's even like on the strength of like, oh, we've been talking and I may have flirted, where flirting went a little bit too far, and now we're in this space where I have to put my money where my mouth is.
Right.
So, forget about bad sex. More often than not, women have sex when they don't want to.
Right.
Because we think that we owe men sex. Then on the flip side of it is that while women think that they owe men sex, they getting trash sex. And enduring it because you're not allowed, because this is a man's ego. And so you're not allowed to correct him or coach him or even just like nudge him a little bit, guide him in your right direction, because sex was owned by men. There's so many things in this world that have been owned by men, and sex was definitely one of them. Sex kind of still is one of them, and we've been taking back our power, like you said, by saying, hey, like, I don't like this, and I actually want this, and I actually really want this. But realistically speaking, because sex belonged to men, we weren't allowed to tell them when they're doing it wrong.
Right. And you want to know something else, ladies? As we are starting this era, I also like to mention there are a lot of people still in the eras behind. I have literally been vocal with a person before and said, hey, I like it this way, and I'm going to need you to do it this way. If you know, and not in a demanding, like, I'm gonna need you to do it, but in a just like adult kind of like, these are the things that I like. I'm just gonna need you to, you know, A, B, C, D. And the response was, oh, so you want this or you want that? And no,
I want both. What do you mean?
And that's the thing, is that the concept of a lot of guys are head in penetration, and that is where your sexual vocabulary starts.
No, it's head or penetration. He told you you don't get to have both. It's not and. Don't get carried away. It's or.
Right. And so when you are in situations like that, and I really do hope this episode really gets you guys thinking, reflecting. I think some people are going to get broken up with.
Listen, they gonna go in on our lives.
I think people are going to get broken up with, and the men are not about to be happy about it. But I want to tell you this, guys. Sex can get so deep that if you're doing it right, you can look at a person without you touching them or them touching you, and you feel like you're about to orgasm.
Yeah.
Really, it comes down to chemistry, it comes down to respect, it comes down to understanding that, you know, that saying there are more fish in the sea is a real thing.
Yes.
Just because that two paths cross don't mean they're meant to stop at the crossing. So,
and you know what though, also the thing is that, again, because sex has belonged to men for such a long time, a lot of women don't even know what they like.
ooh,
You know? And I've definitely been there. Like, I've been there where I'm like, oh, this is new. I like this. Oh, I really like this. And then you meet somebody who just, you're like,
you are embarrassed.
People are doing this? This is what's been going on? I've obviously never had sex before. Oh no. Oh no. If y'all ain't doing this, don't touch me.
I want this every time.
This is my favorite. If there's anything that I've learned through my sexual experiences, and I guess this is debatable, but I personally feel that the best sex comes from men who have sex for the woman. That is the absolute best.
Yeah.
And if you do not feel like it is all about you, and don't get me wrong, you can have your days where it is about him. But if he doesn't touch you to make you feel,
First of all, two people can be really great at sex and be bad at it together.
facts.
Because the chemistry just isn't there.
Is not there.
And so if the chemistry isn't there, I just really do feel like it's a warning sign that, look, unless you're asexual and you don't like sex and the other person doesn't like sex either, that's the thing, Saika. Like, there are people who... So unless you're asexual and sex is, like, you know, not something that's a big deal for you, because then there's that too. But if you like sex and you know you like sex, then...
Or if you want to like sex. I'm including everybody, because you also have to think about the people who have had so much trash sex that they're just like, I don't like this, I don't want it, I don't get it, I don't see the point. You don't get it.
Which is the thing. So when Saika said earlier, think back to the moment that you were most pleased or whatever. If you are in a relationship right now and you just sat back and tried to think back on a moment where you were actually, like, blown out of your mind satisfied, and you can't think of that.
And I mean, you coming into work doing backflips.
I'm talking about you couldn't make it to work.
You barely made it through the night.
Because you needed to make some pancakes, because what he did wasn't right.
And then you had to pray.
And then you had to call your mom.
What you did wasn't right.
And say, Mom, I think I'm in love. Like, this type of, like, I'm talking about mind blown. I'm talking about you just changed the emojis on that man's name. You know what I'm saying?
What advice would you give to someone on like how to sit down and have that conversation of, I want this to work and I want this to be really good. So here's what I need. What do you need?
You want to start this conversation on a cellular device. That way when things become uncomfortable, you can hang up and try again tomorrow.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious. You are about to speak about a man's entire ego, and I have done it wrong before.
Okay,
so
okay,
you need to
okay.
listen
I'm listening.
to me.
I'm listening.
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how strong you think your relationship is or how strong you think your communication is. You need to get, the closest you need to be with this man is on FaceTime. You need to be on a mobile device.
Okay.
Okay? That's number one. You want to first ask the question, is anybody else around? Are you by yourself? Because you are about to speak about a very fragile subject, okay? And this man may get defensive and tell you things about yourself. And when he does, when he tells you it's you, when he tells you something like,
that's when y'all break up.
No. You need to understand that this is not about you, sis. He's hurt.
Oh.
And you are kind of talking about a subject that, you know, is sore, because when you tell a man about himself sexually, there's not a lot he can change. When you tell a woman about herself sexually, you can take a dance class. You can, you know, do a yoni scene. You can do some Kegels. Like, there's really nothing that you can't do as a woman to improve your sex life. But as a man, there are a lot of things that he can't change. So it becomes a sensitive subject. And so that's why I said you want to be on the phone. The next thing is, you want to set the conversation up. This is the one time that I'm going to encourage being sensitive to men. You want to set the conversation up with ownership on both ends. Because,
okay, yes, I'm good with that.
Right. Because sex is a thing where the effort of both is important. So as you set that up, it's important to go ahead now and say, all right, look, we both had sex the other night or the other day, and I think on both ends we can kind of sense that it wasn't, you know, phenomenal. And I really, really like you. I really want this to work. And I was wondering, you know, what were your thoughts? Like, how did you feel about it? So before you start just saying things.
Like, all right,
because now you saying it, he didn't even know.
Right.
He's thinking it was great. Ask him how he felt. Ask him, you know, what did you think about the sex? And you can be completely honest with me, even if he can't, because you're probably about to scan your feelings too. But you want that honesty so you know how to navigate.
Because you guys want to be together ultimately. Can't have a sex talk without asking this question. Does size matter?
I knew you were going to ask this shit. I knew it. Oh my God. Does size matter? Oh man, I'm getting hot. I'm really sweaty. Okay. Woo! I'm gonna lose followers again. Size doesn't matter.
Oh, doesn't?
No, I didn't finish the sentence.
Sorry.
Size does not matter to you until you've been in a situation with a size that does matter. So I'm talking about on the spectrum of too small, too big. And I'm gonna say that with a grain of salt because, you know, for some women there isn't a too small. Some women, that's their ministry. For some women there isn't a too big. For some women that's their ministry. But we all like different things. We all have different bodies and different responses to different things. So the thing is that size does matter because, you know, there are different things that you may like to do that a certain size may not be able to do.
See, so I was thinking of it more so from the perspective of like, if size always makes a difference, because I remember I like had someone on my, you know, my checklist that like the first time we had sex I was like, okay, maybe it's me. But then the second time we had sex I'm like, wow, like you have a great package and you're extremely handsome, but you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, and this is stressing me out.
I'm happy you brought that up. A lot of men who have a good size down there think that that's where it ends.
What I learned is that the issue there is that really, really attractive men who don't do relationships and this and that, they get so used to being with so many different women that they never actually learn a woman's body.
Right.
Because like you said earlier, we all respond differently to different things. But like the man who learns how the general body of a woman works, what women actually respond to, as opposed to just let me just stick that in there, like you move differently.
Right.
When you're having sex. And so like that really just comes from like not knowing what a woman's body actually is. Like even like guys who go down on you, who like give you head or whatever the case may be.
That is a whole episode.
And you're just
A
like,
lot of y'all just need to stay up. But
yeah, like you're just like, I know I'm supposed to like this. Like that's how I felt for a very long time, like getting head. I was like, I know that I'm supposed to like this because it's all the rave in Womantown. Like that's all they talk about.
Girl, oh my god.
It's all the rave, so is it me?
Guys, if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't know if she's enjoying it, and ladies, please stop faking it, because you're really doing everyone else a disservice, because you're not gonna be with that man forever. Come on,
and he's gonna have to go to somebody else. Wow.
So if you don't know what you're doing, ask her, ask a friend, watch a video. But you know, that is something that is so disappointing, you know, when you are in that position and he's doing what he's doing, and it's like, why don't I like this?
Can we just skip to the sex part? No, like that's how I feel.
Me too. It's like, yes. I think that's the exact notion in everybody's mind.
But that's supposed to be a part of sex, which is what's like crazy.
That's the sad part.
That's the sad part. It's like, but that is supposed to be the sex part. Like that's the start of the sex part.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, yes, thank you, but can we just get to
like it's really like,
all
oh,
the
that
parts
was so
that
sweet
I
of you.
like? Yeah, like can we,
that was so sweet, but it's okay. We can just move on.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part where it's like foreplay is being put as a separate part of sex, where it's like it's not foreplay and then sex. That is sex.
Yeah.
That is sex.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that, like, you know, no one wants to feel like they're a chore. The same way as men, you don't want to feel like your woman is having sex with you because it's something that she has to endure, like we spoke about earlier. She doesn't want to feel like you are going down on her or you are doing anything to her that is like, oh yeah, she says she like kissing, so let me give her these 2 kisses. Like, nobody wants to experience that.
Oh my god. It just like you saying that just brought me back to like, you know, some people don't kiss during sex. You said like it was normal. I just can't grasp laying up under somebody who doesn't want to kiss me.
I've never been with anyone. I've never had sex with anyone who didn't want to kiss me.
You just don't do kissing because you don't mess with them like that.
Right.
I want to be that badass, but I'm way too emotional.
But it's not even, it's also this too though, because you've experienced this as well. When you give, even sometimes you get 5% to a certain person that is like, just because I like you and I'm interested in you and I would like to experience you in that way, doesn't mean that I want to be with you. It doesn't mean that I'm trying to, you know, advance this to any other level than what this is. And you give that 5%, and now he's calling you several times a day. Now he's telling you he doesn't want you dating anybody else. Now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for me, I know the power that I have. And a lot of times we take very lightly that common saying that is powerful. It is powerful. And so it's like, I'm going to give you this quick 10%, and we're going to keep it there because I have things to do. and I don't even know you like that, sir. So you don't need to be, you know,
blowing up my
phone and doing all the things that you like to say that men don't do. Y'all are liars, but that's another episode. Y'all be lying. Ooh. Gotta get right to bed, King. Well, that's been Red Wine Girls Time. We hope that you guys take this to heart. Yeah. We hope that you have your notebooks out. And we hope that you are sharing this with as many people as possible.
And we hope that you are having the important sex talk with your partner.
Right.
Yeah. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe. This is something that we never ever throw out there, but we actually would love more engagement. This Thursday, following this episode, so next Thursday, tune in to our Instagrams.
Women.
Yes, tune into our Instagram. We'll be going live Thursday at 10 p.m. To recap this episode and to really talk about it. So Girl Talk Live is always really, really fun.
Yeah.
We get a lot of engagement, mostly from men. So ladies, if you really want to see a show, come to the live this weekend, next week, because I know they're about to go in and be in their feelings. Like, it's crazy. And then also be sure to check out all the other episodes for Red Wine Girl Time. I'm going to actually link all of them in the description box so you can catch up. We have 3 more episodes of this season, our relationships with men. And yeah, we just want to hear more of your thoughts. What are you expecting to see before we close out this first season?
Some girls wonder.
Other girls wine.
That was
Red Wine Girl Time.
Bye, guys.